Welcome to the War on Wellness. I am your host, and we're talking about those darn food cravings. I'm Penny, also known as Plant Based Penny, and this is part 4 of our series that we've been doing on those darn food cravings. I'm telling you, I did a survey in my Facebook group asking people whether they crave more sweets or whether they crave more salty. And you would guess that they said that they actually 100% of the people said that they crave more sweets than they crave salty. So that's fine. I used to be a sweet craver. Now I'm I'm more of a salty preferer. I prefer salty foods a little bit more. Put in the chat if you're a sweet or if you're a salty craver. Today, we're going to be talking about solutions. And today, we are talking about those darn those darn food cravings. And somebody puts in the chat that they don't care what it is as long as it's one or the other. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. So last week we talked about eat motions. If you missed last week, go back to that broadcast. You can find it on YouTube or, oh, you know what? I need to bring in my Instagram family. I just realized that they are not here. Okay, welcome. Welcome to my Instagram family. Good to see each and every one of you here. Good. Okay, we're all in the house now, the entire family. And so we are talking about those darn food cravings, and specifically, we're talking about the solutions to those cravings. And so I really appreciate your responses, and I appreciate you watching. And I want to give a shout out because this weekend was fabulous. We had I participated in the Leading Ladies RVA event, and it was great. And a lot of you came out as well. So thank you for being there to support. Yay! So that's my thanks to you for being there. I enjoy doing speaking engagements whenever the opportunity presents itself. So feel free to contact me about that, your future engagements that you may be planning. Okay, so here is something that I learned when preparing for this broadcast. 6 10-pound bowling balls. 6 10-pound bowling balls, that's how much added sugar in pounds that the average American adult consumes in a year. Hey, what? Family. That is like ridiculous. Okay, I don't know if you've ever gone bowling, but my family loves to bowl. Okay, and they just went bowling for my nephew's birthday. And a 10-pound ball, well, that's what I bowl with, a 10-pound ball. And so the average American consumes 6 10-pound bowling balls in average in a year in added sugar. So, and then the thing about it is when you consume the added sugar, then you consume more added sugar because the sugar makes you want more what? Sugar. Okay, we're talking about food cravings, and we know in our first broadcast on this series, we talked about the fact that the food is addictive, therefore that's why we are craving it even more. So where is all this sugar coming from? That is the question. I'm going to give you some healthy options at the end of this broadcast or later on in this broadcast. But where is all the sugar coming from? So, yeah, okay. I'm going to tell you that too. But okay, I'll let you guess that. So tell me in the chat if you think that most of the sugar is coming from drinks or coming from food. So which one do you think? Drinks or food? Put that in the chat. So while you're doing that, is another little piece that I found out in research. Actually, this is through my travel of living abroad in 7 countries and 3 different continents. I really observed the people. One of the things that I did not do is I did not live on resorts. I did not. Actually, one country I did stay in a resort, but the other countries where I actually lived in the country, where I was a traveler and not a tourist, and I spent time with the locals and with the indigenous people. One of the things that I did notice is that they were not consuming a lot of sugar. And in that, I mean, they were not consuming a lot of candy or gum or sweet, a lot of sweets like that, a lot of Danishes, donuts. That was not the staple in their diet. And actually, in one country, when I was in Singapore, you could not even chew gum. It was like illegal, literally illegal, with $500 fine. Anyway, I was actually just talking to a friend of mine over in Costa Rica earlier this week, and one of the things that we were talking about is the diet of the children, and how the children don't have the food allergies that we have in the United States because one, the pesticide use is different, and also the diet is different. So a lot of the children there were eating a lot of their sweets were coming from the fruit that they ate, and so they were eating a lot of sweets, the bananas from the trees, the pineapples, all of those fruits, the guavas, the mangoes. Oh, so sweet. Anyway, they were eating the fruits in the ground, which God gave us when He created the earth, and therefore they don't have the diet complications that a lot of us have here in the United States. So according to the World Sugar Market by Index Box, January 2024, the U.S. consumes the most sugar per capita of any other country. The U.S. consumes the most sugar. Now, is anybody really surprised? I don't know. I don't know if you are, but I'm not really surprised. And I don't know if that's because of my international travels, but I would think that nobody else would be surprised too. So put not surprised in the comment if you're not surprised by the fact that the U.S. is number uno when it comes to sugar consumption. And the bottom 5 countries, according to that index, are all countries on the continent of Africa. What? Shout out to the motherland. So, and their beautiful white teeth as well. So somebody put hashtag motherland in the chat. Let's give them some props for consuming low amounts of added sugars. So I asked you the question, where is all the sugar coming from? And let's see, somebody says they don't know where it's coming from, but they just want it to go. Okay, yes, that is an answer as well. Where is all the sugar coming from? Ice cream and cookies is one suggestion. Cookout, and by cookout, I think they probably mean, Pam, you're probably saying the cookout, not the cookouts that people have at the house, but I believe there's a fast food restaurant called Cookout in this part of the country, United States. And let's see. Lola is saying sweets in the house. Yes, sweets in the house. That is another source of the temptations and challenges that can lead to satisfying our food cravings with the wrong things. Yes. So to answer the question, it's coming from beverages. The good percentage of it is coming from beverages, 47%. So that's pretty high. And the rest is coming from food. So to answer my question, I guess the majority is coming from food, and then second place is going to be beverages. That's where that added sugars are coming from. So what we want to do is we want to avoid those added sugars. So when we're looking at beverages, just drinks by itself. There are four main sources of those added sugars, and those are going to be probably no surprise to you either. But those are soft drinks would be the primary source. Then fruit drinks is going to be number two. Then sports and energy drinks are number three. And can you guess what number four is? Coffee and teas. Yes, coffee and teas. And so people are even getting their children into the habit now of drinking coffees, and they are not drinking them black, as in no sugars. They're adding sugar to it. They're adding creams to it. They're adding whipped cream. They're adding all types of ingredients, just upping the sugar content. And that is not the best path that we want to put our children on, because one, we're actually adding the drug caffeine, because caffeine is a drug, and we're also adding the drug sugar, because sugar is a chemical and has a natural reaction, has a reaction with your brain, just like cocaine does. So the body treats it as a drug. If you've ever seen a baby eat sugar for the first time, they're just like, oh my gosh, give me more of that. And their brain for the rest of their life is going to want that sugar. So high sugar is going to lead to health issues, which we know are obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. And so we want to fix the food cravings here on the War on Wellness, because there is a war on our wellness. There's a war on our wellness. And that there's a connection, as I said on the panel on Sunday, that there's a connection between what we eat and the healthcare system. Because what we eat can send us to the hospital or the doctor or the pharmacist more than we would like to go, quicker than we would ordinarily go, or even send us there when we did not have to go at all. Okay. There is actually a war against our wellness. And so we want to make changes. And sometimes these changes need to be gradual, to be sustainable. So let's dive into our tip number one. Tip number one. Wonderful. I see. Okay, great. We have Mom is watching. Doris Johnson Jasper. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Okay. And we have Janice and Lisa. And I mentioned Pam is here. And Dartella. Okay. Good. Wonderful. Nice to have everybody over here in the room. And Dr. Tamara, hey, how are you over on Instagram? Very good. So let me give you the tips, my dear family, because you deserve it. And I know that you want to look, live, and feel well and be your highest and best self. So gradual swaps using natural options. So one of the natural options that you can consider would be berries. So berries are going to be sweeter tasting than some other fruits. And you can eat them alone. You can eat them in yogurt. You can eat them on your oatmeal like my mother-in-law does. Blueberries are going to be one of the highest, most nutritious berries, but any berry can satisfy that sweet tooth, even goji berries. And so strawberries, whatever berry, blackberries, you pick the food item that you like. I mean, if you don't like blueberries, don't pick blueberries. Don't pick anything you don't like. Pick something that you like. And the berries are good because they're small, they're portable, and you can add them to different foods as well. Sweet potatoes is another really good option, because you can get your sweet tooth satisfied by eating a savory food. So you can satisfy that sweet tooth, and it has a natural sweetness. And I think I'm going to actually grow some this year. I actually grew some last year, and I want to keep practicing to try to get better, because I'm not an expert gardener or anything like that, but I enjoy growing my own food. And what I do suggest with the sweet potatoes is that you roast the sweet potatoes when you cook them. And so that's cooking them in the oven, not boiling them on top of the stove. Because when you roast your vegetables, it brings out the sweetness. So even if you don't like Brussels sprouts, I was one of those people. Even if you don't like Brussels sprouts or onions or some other things, when you put them in the oven and you roast them and that sweetness comes out, let me tell you, woo, it tastes so good. So roast them and roast them ahead of time, because the thing is with the sweet tooth, with the sweet craving, when you have a craving, you're going to want something like right now. Yeah, I want something right away. And so go ahead, cook the sweet potatoes, maybe, the night before or whenever you do your food prep, and just cook them so that you have them stored in the fridge. So you just take them out and eat them. It's going to save you time. And it's also going to help you be successful on this journey of those darn food cravings. Okay. Another option is going to be cinnamon. Cinnamon, yes. Cinnamon is not only satisfies the sweet tooth, it's a healthy snack. It's actually good for you. And so you can use the cinnamon sort of like the berries. You can add the cinnamon to many different dishes. Mostly, well, you can add it to savory or sweet dishes, either ones. So add the cinnamon to your toast, add it to your oatmeal. If you eat yogurt, you can add it there. Add it to whatever food item that you have. You can add it to, oh, I'm going to tell you my most favorite one. I'll save that till last. But you can add it to many different options. The other option to consider, so we have berries, we have sweet potatoes. Now looking at dark chocolate is another option to consider. Now this is controversial to some people. And I used to the cacao, which is where chocolate comes from, grows in the tropics. And so I saw many trees with beautiful cacao pods on them. And you pick the pods and they're really sweet when you break them open. And then in order to make it into chocolate, you have to take out the little small pods of seeds, dry them in the sun or however you dry them, and then you break them down into chocolate. So what happens is before it gets to us is that they add things to it. They add the additives and the sugars. But because if you've ever baked and you've had those like little semi-sweet, what do you call them? Chocolate chips. They're not sweet. They're not sweet. So chocolate in its natural form is not sweet. It is sweetened. And so carob is actually the best form to eat. But if you are not at that point yet, dark chocolate and just a bit of chocolate, because just make sure you know that we're not trying to add those 6 bowling balls worth of weight to our body, which is the average pounds in added sugar that Americans eat. So we want moderation is the key. Moderation, making sure that we're moderate. So if we have a candy bar or a dark chocolate bar, then we're eating whatever is about the size of our finger or on that particular day. We are not just like eating the whole bar. Okay. All right. Don't go out there and say, well, plant-based Penny said that I could have dark chocolate. So I got this whole container over here that I'm going to eat. Yes. Very good point. Dates are good to add sweetness also. Okay. Very good. You've already gotten to my next point. So yes, dates are really good. And actually I put those in my favorite one, which I'm going to share with you here at the end as to what I use to satisfy and satiate. It's a really good option also. So those darn food cravings is what we're talking about today. And I want to thank you all for being here, and make sure that you follow on Instagram. Thanks for watching over on Instagram. and on Facebook and on YouTube. If you haven't checked us out on YouTube, make sure you check us out there. So I have about 3 more suggestions for you. And I'm going to come back right after this message from our sponsor. Okay, welcome back to the War on Wellness. I'm your host, Penny McPherson. And our next tip for those darn food cravings is grilled pineapple. Yes, grilled pineapple, people. I'm telling you, grilled pineapple, if you have not had grilled pineapple, put in the chat pineapple if you had grilled pineapple. Grilled pineapple is something that you definitely want to try. It is definitely invited to the cookout, okay? Grilled pineapple is invited to the cookout because it is so good. And just like roasting your vegetables brings out the sweetness, grilling those pineapples, boy, let me tell you, that is going to be so good. And just put them on the grill them. Don't mix them with the meat juices, please. And then you can have that. You can have that already done and in your fridge so that when you're wanting that, you can just bring that out and, slice it, eat the pieces. And so slice them into the rings, just like donut rings. So instead of partaking in the dessert for whatever your meal is, you can eat the grilled pineapple. Yum, yum, and yum. Okay. And then next to the last one is going to be frozen grapes. If you've ever had frozen grapes, put frozen grapes in the chat. Frozen grapes are a great treat. You put the grapes in the freezer. They have such a high water content that you don't even have to wait so long. So you can put them in, you get home from the grocery store, and they'll be frozen normally that same day. It just depends on your freezer. And if you haven't had them, you're missing out. You can eat them just like candy. You can take them with you when you're traveling. They replace the sugary popsicles. There's so many things that can benefit you that you can use with the grilled pineapple. And so I want to encourage you to do that. The other option that you can have is going to be my favorite, my absolute favorite. And that is nice cream. Now, if you know what nice cream is, then you can put that in the chat. But nice cream is going to be, it's what I call my ice cream. Okay. It is basically ice cream made from fruit is what it is. It's ice cream made from fruit, and it's banana ice cream, although you don't have to have bananas. And if you're diabetic, you can have less bananas in your, I call it a smoothie, but it's not really a smoothie. But all you do is what I do is buy bananas. I have bananas, strawberries, and dates. I put dates in mine. And when I do that, I blend it in a blender and I enjoy it so, so very much. I blend mine and then I add almonds to it. And then I blend that a little bit. So I like the texture. So good. And so I don't have to eat candy because, one, I'm trying desperately not to gain the 60 extra pounds that come from the added sugars that the average American eats. And two, it also puts you on what's called a sugar high. So a sugar high is when you feel really good for a period of time, and then you have a crash, and you have a people who are hypoglycemic actually experience this as well. And so you want to avoid that at all costs. Avoid it at all costs. And when you do, you will feel a lot better for it. And then you also don't have the issues that come along with that. And those are the heart disease, the diabetes, the and some cancers. Oh, obesity. That's the number one thing. So you want to avoid that at all costs and if at all possible. So I really, enjoy sharing this and other information with the Women Making Moves conference this past weekend. I want to remind you that I am available for one-on-one speaking consultations along with speaking engagements. I'm checking over here. Hello, Denise Moon. Nice of you to join us over on Instagram. And I want to thank Tanya, Noreen, and who else do we have? Lady, all over here on Facebook. So thanks for joining. And also look for my YouTube channel. Wait. Don't move. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. February starts my series that will be coming up. And that series, you voted for the name of the series. And so it is Heritage Fusion Culture, Lifestyle, and Wellness. So Heritage Fusion, Culture, Lifestyle, and Wellness. And it's an interview series. I'm going to be interviewing guests for each of my Wednesday night lives. The first guest coming up, which next week, February 7th, is going to be Holly Freeman. And she's just famous in the bee world. And she actually started the Virginia Black Beekeepers Club. And she's going to be here. She was a very popular guest from last year. And so back by popular demand, we're going to have Holly Freeman here on next week. So I'm going to have a guest every Wednesday, and I make sure that you will have that list. Continue to check my social media. Make sure you follow me, turn on your live notifications, and I am happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you. I look forward to the opportunity to help you move from your problems to your progress with plant-based solutions. Bye-bye.